Okay, so what should we cover first?
Dude, this is your show.
I know.
Why'd you just show up?
I like those boots a lot, though.
I do too. They're my Beth Dutton Yellowstone. I bought them right after my grandmother died because they reminded me of Beth Dutton, Save the Ranch.
Okay, do you want to introduce ourselves?
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Is it rolling?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Veronica Park and this is
Lisa Hildebrand.
Lisa wanted me to do an explanation over inspections, the inspection process for when you're buying a property.
Yes, when you're buying a property. So I try not to get too into the weeds about real estate talk because it can be kind of boring, but inspections I think are important for everybody. Most people have, if they've bought or sold a home, they've gone through them. But I feel like there's some things that aren't really clear. So let's just walk through the process. You find a great house.
Yes.
You have a buyer, you guys go to this house, it looks great. They put an offer in on it, offer's accepted, and then in the actual offer, there is an inspection contingency.
Yeah.
What is an inspection contingency?
So the inspection contingency gives the buyer a chance to have 10 business days is the standard. You can ask for more time, especially if you're having a country property inspection. You'll need about probably 15 business days because you're going to be doing well flow tests, septic tests, but let's just stick to residential to make it easier. But you do have a say on shortening that time or lengthening it. If you can get your inspector the next day, if you want to make your offer more attractive, you can make it a 7-day inspection, 5-day. Just again, you always want to check with your inspector to see how quick you can get him out there. The major inspections you want to have done is a full home inspection, radon, and the sewer scope.
What is the inspector looking for? Because I think some people have this misconceived notion that they can walk into a house and be like, oh, I hate the color of this room, or I hate the tile in this bathroom. How can I get $2,000 to $3,000 off of the purchase price? Is that something, or is that has nothing to do with inspection?
No, and that's what I always encourage our clients to consider. When they are making that offer, you need to take these things that you can see into play and put forth an offer, what you think the property is worth based on those kind of items. The home inspection is supposed to only be calling out health and safety issues, especially when we are talking about the sewer scope, because obviously we can't see underground and see root intrusion, and radon. We can't tell if they are having high radon levels there. If the inspector goes in the attic and finds mold, if the inspector finds major, health and safety issues, these are the things we need to talk about to the seller.
Okay, so the aesthetic stuff you would want your client to think about when you're actually writing out the offer.
Right.
Inspections are strictly for health and safety.
Yes, so we're going to be talking big ticket items like he'll be able to go up on the roof. We can't all see what's happening in the roof. The longevity of your major appliances as well as your furnace systems. So if those items are at end of life, that's definitely a conversation you and your buyer and seller are going to need to negotiate.
What are the items that you then as a realtor would be entertaining and then also representing with your client saying, okay, we need to talk to the seller's agent and seller about this? What are the ones that are red flags?
The report is available to the buyer usually within 24 hours. You sit down with the buyer, you go through the report, and it's going to be, what concerns them the most, what are their red flags. So it's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah. If the person loves the home, but there's a major roof issue, that's then the conversation you have. Does that go into negotiation and say, okay, well, the roof definitely has to either be replaced or repaired? And at that point,
what we try to do before the inspection period is we try and get an estimate for the items, like say in particular a roof. And it can either be, negotiated as a credit, it could be negotiated to have the repairs done before closing. There's a lot of different ways you can work around it to make it work for everybody.
A person puts a home on the market, they have a seller disclosure form where they list things that they knowingly need repair. And this is, what's it called? What's a fiduciary duty? What's one of the fiduciary duties?
I wouldn't even bother
duties?
saying that.
What is
God, who's calling us? Sorry, stand by.
Alrighty, back. Your hair does look really nice.
Really?
Yeah.
I curl it too much. Don't
No,
I?
it looks good. It's nice and shiny. So disclosure. You have your sellers disclose things that they already know that are
Absolutely.
Defects on the home.
Yes.
Can you give just one story when you were selling a house with a seller and then something came back on an inspection that was like, wow?
That nobody was expecting?
That no one was expecting. Have you had?
Gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like, okay, in my own house,
Right.
you know, when I had a contractor come and fix a fan in the bathroom and he didn't vent it correctly. So when I went to sell my house, there was a bunch of mold in the attic that I wasn't even aware of, which was fun. We got it remediated and was fine. That's why a pre-inspection sometimes is a good idea, but I always warn our clients too, when you do a pre-inspection, you have that inspector, the buyer brings along their inspector, they're gonna find a whole other set of problems,
Right.
potential problems. And so it's open to interpretation
Right.
again.
Well, that's the thing. That's kind
Every
of
inspector is so different. Like
Yeah.
share your example.
Yeah, I'll bring that up when we get to the deal killer part.
okay.
With the mold remediation, when it came back to they said, okay, we have mold. All right, Veronica, you either give us the money or you take care of this.
It was either or, but I mean, just for, you know, reciprocity, I decided just to take care of it, and I didn't want to put the onus on them. The condo that we just did the inspection on, they had, you know, original cast iron pipe that was from the 1970s that was pitted out. And thankfully, we were able to work with the HOA. The HOA is actually going to be taking care of that portion of the repair, so that cost is being passed along to the HOA rather than the buyer seller, which we're very thankful for. So there's a lot of different things that come into play. You want both sides to feel like they are winning.
Right, that's the whole point. So deal killer time.
Okay.
So I had a house, it was 10 years old. It had a lifetime warranty roof. It was the PVC? No, not PVC pipe. What's the roof? TPO? No. Anyway, it was a roof that's lifetime warranty. But the house was so high up that when the buyer had the inspector come, they did not go to the roof. And instead of writing, was not able to see the roof, maybe get a second opinion, they wrote, couldn't see roof, plan to replace roof. The wording in this inspection, even though it was a 10-year-old home, you would have thought this was a dilapidated, thought this was a cardboard box with duct tape. That's how horrible the language was in this. There is a such thing as a deal killer when it comes to an inspector. And you want your inspector to be knowledgeable, you want them to be honest, you want them to be detail-oriented and fastidious. You also want them to be fair.
Absolutely. And like you said, bedside manner. I mean, this is someone's home. This is someone's pride and joy. You have to be so careful with these negotiations because so many times this is where I see it all blow up and the love be gone. And it's a very precarious situation to be in. And you have to be so careful. And as an inspector, that's egregious.
It is egregious, and that was one of the things because it cost us 2 buyers. It cost us 2 buyers to the point where I had to get in touch with this inspector and say to them, please, how can I fix this and repair this? And then they recommended their roofing company to come. And the person that they recommended came to my house, went on the roof, came down and said, this inspector is very irresponsible with their language. There is absolutely nothing wrong with your roof. And that cost us 2. It was on the market, taken off, and then it went back on the market and taken off.
How much of a price reduction did you have to take because of that?
Oh, well, I mean, this was 2022, right when everything was turning, but it $50,000.
And that's another reason you want to work with an inspector. I mean, the inspector I work with, I think I've been with him over 10 years, and he's amazing. It's just, again, it's that bedside manner. You want to be working with an inspector that cares about the property, will put the property back in the condition that it was in when they arrived, and this is somebody's home.
When someone is hiring an inspector,
Get a good one.
get a good one, don't get a deal killer. And when you are a buyer and you do have an inspector, what are some red flags? What are some signs that you do have a deal killer? Is it just if they're walking into a home and everything is wrong and there's just these kind of overinflated statements?
That, and again, sometimes you can talk with your buyer. Most of the time they will understand, okay, these are not health and safety. These are going to be more of a handyman to-do list when we get the property as ours. But oftentimes, you first-time home buyers, it does scare them to be able to have that knowledge and have a contractor come in to ease their fears that can talk to them through these inspection issues. So, you know, multiple voices are always needed, I believe.
Same. Okay. Well, I guess that covers it.
Right.
The wonderful, interesting, and wild world of home inspections. So,
Well, let us know if there's any questions you guys might have or any other videos you want us to do on, should I even say that?
do you have anything else you want to say to these fine people?
Peace and chicken grease.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Wait, thanks for sharing. Oh, God.
All right, that was fun.